Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today it's going to be a match between herO and herO and Circuit Breakers. Top left-hand corner, we've got ourselves, oh, this is bottom left, it is the blue Terran player herO, playing under his Smurf name NSP Note. And in the top left-hand corner, it is the orange Zerg player herO. Alright, so two Koreans going at it today. It's going to be a TVZ, it's going to be excellent. Lots of science vessels, I'm assuming. Lots of Dark Swarm and Plague, I am assuming. Hit that like button and buckle up if you are ready for this TVZ. Hey, did you know I stream on Twitch? Twitch.tv/Falcon Paladin. I'm streaming the Warcraft 3 campaign out there, so if you're interested, go over to that website, twitch.tv/Falcon Paladin. Hit the follow button, doesn't cost you anything. And be notified when I go live on Sundays. Man, it is such a great campaign. It's the Warcraft 3 Reforged campaign, but they didn't quite deliver on their promise of updated cutscenes using the game engine, but I don't know. Doesn't feel any worse than the Warcraft 3 campaign that I played for the second or third time back in 2012, I can tell you that much. Hey, it's a pool first here from herO. It's an overpool. So not super aggressive, especially because he's not taking gas. Just more a preventative measure for a bunker rush or whatever herO could be doing here, but nah, he's just throwing up a barracks here inside his own main base. Nothing too exciting here at all. Additionally, I do have a podcast, which is something I like to talk about every once in a while. Just search Falcon Paladin on your podcast app, wherever it is, whether it's Apple Podcasts, whether it's Google Podcasts, whether it's anything in between. You can find us on the internet. Falcon Paladin Hour, just search us there and you can pull it up. It's a weekly pod. Talk about TV shows and books and movies and StarCraft and all sorts of great stuff, just kind of nerdy things if you're into that sort of stuff, and I imagine you probably are. So SCV scouting the entirely wrong direction right now is herO, which is totally fine. His APM is above 430. You might as well use some of that on an SCV scout. I mean, it's not really an APM sync, but scouting is what you want to do. And it is 6 Lings coming in, though. So 6 Lings going to be somewhat aggressive. The Overlord sees, this is where the Terran player lives, which is nice. We'll go ahead and send the Lings right down there and see what we can get done. And this is going to have to be a body block with SCVs. I really think if this doesn't get scouted... It is getting scouted, though, because the second SCV is scouting the correct location. And we'll see the 4 Lings out. Get backed into a corner. Maybe he doesn't see the 6, but this has got to be a Marine at the top of the ramp or 2 Marines, and then SCVs body blocking the ramp to stay alive. We saw Idra do this recently on the channel. You have to do this. If the Zerg goes early pool on you like that, overpool, and you don't have a bunker or anything. And this is it. You just hold position the SCVs, and the Zerglings will not attack them by default on an A move. They only attack things that are attacking them. Well, they only attack, rather, SCVs that are attacking them if they're also being attacked by something else. It's like this hierarchy of what to attack that's in the AI's mind there. So you body block, and then you can't really get through. So the Zerglings are going to either have to kill the SCVs by manually target firing them while being fired upon by the Marines the whole time, or just die. I mean, you're going to die either way. So nice hold, great scout. That is why you scout. That is why, if you don't find your opponent in the first place, you scout the other direction, especially against a Zerg player, because they can really hurt you early on. It's making another macro hatch, which I like to see, although that could just be a third. Going to be honest with you, I mean, this is not an ideal third base here on Circuit Breakers, just because tanks can set up here and fire on it, and you really can't do much about it. It's really rough to take a third there, but there's another base up around this area. It can go for just minerals only, but still, I'd like to see a third base out of herO, but it's cool. It is totally fine. Zerglings coming on down. Too many Marines now. They can take care of themselves. They don't need SCV body blocks anymore, that's for sure. So building the second command center inside the main base just because... Just to be extremely careful, because this still could be like 20 Zerglings, and that would be really bad for these Marines. It's not, though. We're going for speed, but definitely droning up a whole bunch back home. If you're herO going for a layer 2, he's got his gas. He's taking a second gas now, and this really feels like a Mutalisk opening, which is something that herO should be ready for. He should be familiar with it. He should start an engineering bay sooner rather than later. He doesn't need it now, but it's definitely in the back of his mind as his build. He is getting an Academy, which indicates he's going for a ton of bio, at least in the early stages. And TVZ is an interesting matchup that way. You can go bio the whole game if you want, supported by science vessels. You can also go bio into mech relatively early, where you don't get a ton of upgrades for your bio and you just start getting upgrades for your mech instead. Or you can go straight into mech, honestly. I've seen that work too in TVZ. So look at this Zergling spread. Bruh, trying to see if there's anything blue on the map they need to worry about. And the answer is no. Sharp is hanging out at home. It's SCVing up as hard as you're droning up. It's currently 27 SCVs to 22 drones, actually. And the Zerglings, I just don't think they paid for themselves. I mean, herO made them. He took a gamble there. Took a risk, and it didn't really work out. This is more Lings, though, and this is something you have to worry about as the follow-up attack of a bajillion Zerglings. There's not a bunker here. There are no fire bats. There's a couple medics which need to be involved in this battle. The Lings know they don't want to engage yet, but if they can draw the Marines out and get a surround on them, this could end very poorly. Going for the surround. The medics are in there healing as well as they can, and they do manage to clean up the Zergling attack. The bunch more show up, but too late. Man, if those ones had been in there on the original attack, I think that bio ball just dies. But I love the fire bats. Once he recognized what was going on, he got a couple fire bats with medic support, and that's going to make these Zerglings get the heck on out of there. Marine fire bat medic is the answer to the Zerglings that you've always wanted ever since StarCraft 1 was released and Brood War wasn't out yet. You're like, how can I? Mutas are really good. I need some help with those. And how do I deal with just mass Lings? Because these Marines and fire bats, they have stim, yeah, but there's nothing that can heal them because medics were introduced in Brood War. So I mean, basically, Ling Mutalisk was unstoppable for the few months that StarCraft 1 existed, and the expansion did a lot to balance the game by introducing Valkyries and medics for Terran. Additionally, Goliath range was another thing they introduced in Brood War. So the mutas are out, and the turrets are on their way, and Sharp's timing is fairly impeccable. It's a little bit late. But the mutas decide not to go in quite yet anyway, so that works out. But here, oh, they waited. They waited, and the turret's up. Turret's up. Second turret is just, there you go. Man, the timing from Sharp, though. Beautifully, beautifully well timed out. Down to the second when he needed those. Is it more Mutalisks, though? Yeah, by golly, herO's going for even more Mutalisks right now. Zergling's trying to see, is there a third base somewhere? I don't have a third base, so I'm really hoping Sharp doesn't have a third base right now. So mutas are stacked up, doing the muta stacking trick. You put an overlord into the control group, stack up on that overlord wherever it happens to be, and then you can kind of do this, where you're just doing tons of damage in one specific location over and over again. Mutas get an overlord and do supply block herO, actually. Is that mutaflock enough? Man, that's 10. That's 10 Mutalisks, but that Marine group is mean. That Marine group has stim, and you really don't want to get in a direct confrontation with that bio if you can help it. Maybe with some Zergling support, and maybe if you pick up a couple more of these Marines, you can do it. This is not looking good for Sharp, though. These Lings are cruising in. They're ready. If you're ready for them. They decide to go back and defend the homeland instead. Get a few Sunkens up, just in case there is a dash by the Terran player. I really don't know about coming in here again. I mean, the mutas are doing okay. I say this as 2 of them die, 3 of them die. But, you know, they're taking down a bunch of Marines here. There's actually only 2 turrets here. Can you sit back there out of range of the turrets? Boy, you sure can. Okay, all right. I mean, again, the Mutalisks are dying. Let's not sugarcoat this. Meanwhile, Zergling's getting into your natural base, trying to kill your missile turret, and they get both of them. Nice hit. Beautiful hit there. Further Mutalisk attacks are going to be more effective, and guess who has more Mutalisks? That's right, herO does. Still no third base from him, though, and that does not bode well for him in the long run here. I mean, I know he has a ton of mutas, but he needs to take a third base or severely cripple the economy of Sharp. And he hasn't done that yet. It's still 31 SCVs to 28 drones. The mutas stack up, and I don't know about turning around there. Once again, getting into the main base is sort of his sweet spot. The Marines are stacking up on the ramp. SCVs are dying, trying to build a factory, which is really annoying for Sharp. The turrets are not in a position to really help here. But again, there's only 5 Mutalisks left. They're taking a lot of shots. A lot of these mutas are in the purple. Every missile turret hit is a big one. Another Mutalisk dies. But a medic dies too. But at this stage, you're 2 bases. You're a 2-basing Zerg versus a 2-basing Terran. You're down on economy. I like the Hydralisk Den, trying to go into lurkers here to deal with all this bio, which definitely we're sitting on for Sharp. He's got +1 attack now. He is going for a starport and only 1 factory. So I don't think we're going mech quite yet. Usually you're going to see a 3rd base just because you need a lot of gas to go for mech. Is not as much to go for bio. But herO is committing to more Mutalisks I've seen here in a while in a ZVT. I mean, I'm trying to remember who it was. There was a Zerg player fairly recently on the channel who went for this style of thing, and it was pretty effective, but it really feels like you're just trying to win the game on 2 bases if you're making this many Mutalisks and this many Lings on 32 drones and not taking a 3rd base. I guess you're in position to do it now at 10 minutes, but that's very much my initial plan did not work. Let's go for a 3rd and try to catch up. It's exactly what that is. So Lurker aspect on the way. The Terran player is not really in a position to punish that, just because a lot of his bio has died to these Mutalisk attacks. But definitely going for a science facility, so you can start that science vessel production. And so far, it's just, I mean, I'm going to call it Flash style, because I see him do it most often. And I guess Idra really likes it too, but just a lot of bio. A lot of Marines, a lot of medics, fire bats if the link count is high. And then get a radiate on the science vessel, and then just irradiate all of the things as needed. It's really a pretty strong play. If you can spread those Marines around Lurkers, everything else pretty much dies to them. Except for Ultralisks. We have seen Ultras catch Terran players by surprise before. What is this? It's a further... Is he spreading creep? It's not really something we see in Brood War, is spreading creep. That poor Marine. He was alone. Being a lone Marine is not a good thing. It's a really bad place to be. Honestly, at this point, herO has the resources. I kind of want him just to take a 3rd up here. I know this map is Terran favored because, again, the high ground tanks are really annoying to dislodge. But at this stage, there's only a couple tanks. Okay, I guess we're making... Well, there's 3. And there's another one on the way. So it might be more tanks than you're comfortable with. But he's going for a Defiler Mound. Actually, it's already done. Researching Consume. There you go. There you go. Researching the Consume. Marines are out, tanks are out, medics are out, and just the map awareness here, the map visibility for herO is pretty fantastic. But we're going to see a move out. It's going to be fairly scary. Zerglings cruising around the southern section, maybe going to deny a base. The Muta control is pretty good. I mean, you know it keeps losing Mutalisks, and those are 100 each, man. Mutas are not cheap, and a Radiate there would be disgusting. I don't think he has... Has he researched a Radiate yet? I want to say he has, but the production tab says... Doesn't say anything. I wish there was a way to tell what upgrades were done, especially... I mean, we can tell what like attack and armor upgrades are done, but... And that is... Basically, the Marines have 1-1. That's about it. No one else has any upgrades at all. Zerglings, no. Mutalisks, no. Which I'm not really a fan of. You really need those upgrades for your Zerglings and your Mutas to keep them alive. But the Mutas and the Lings are just being active. And that's how you have the advantage in speed here with this strategy. You don't have an advantage in straight-up engagements. In straight-up engagements, you have a bad time. Like that. I mean, they got the Science Vessel, which was really nice. But, again, Mutaflock not quite what it was. Sharp decides he doesn't need to come back home. Let's keep pushing and try to kill this 3rd base. Are there any Lurkers we can put at the top of the ramp? Yes, there's Lurkers here, but there are tanks, and there was a sign. Oh, here we go. That's an Irradiate. That's an Irradiate. Split it. Nice split. Perfect split. And even then, he lost a Muta or 2, which is super annoying for him. So the Lurkers take some free tank shots. Nice Dark Swarm, though. Fantastic Dark Swarm. It does not save your buildings, though. So this hatchery is a cancel. There's just no saving it here. There's not enough army present. Some Lings are popping out, but... Are you really coming in here? He's going to try to get the tank. Nice Dark Swarm, though, actually. And you know what? The tank does end up going down. Mutalisks just fly to their deaths. That was not super good. Lurkers taking some serious shots here. Nice Science Vessel hit on that Scourge, irradiating the Defiler. It dies. This tank is in Lurker range, and it can't finish off the hatch. That was a fantastic hold by herO. That was extremely scary for a minute there. Zergling trying to shut down the 3rd base of Sharp, but he's got enough Marines to protect that one. More Lings and Lurkers coming down to try to put some pressure on Sharp so that they can't continually reinforce this front that is sieging up his 4th base. This is pretty tight. This is a close game. SCV transfer down when there's a fairly intimidating Zerg attack coming in, but we've got some Widow Mines tossed. Going for faster Vulture movement and upgrading weapons. So I think we're going for mech here if you're sharp, which can be extremely hard for Zerg to deal with, but if anyone can do it, I believe in herO. I believe in herO. So this is an issue. The third base by sharp is toast. The fourth base by herO is still alive. He basically double expanded here, and it worked out for him in the end. And it's 101 to 112 supply. Sharp has a lead, but it's not really much of one. And his third base is toast. He needs to protect the third base. Where's this army going? Like, you need to solidify your third. I understand you really want to kill this fourth and this third, but herO has shown some really nice Dark Swarm play. Dark Swarm Lurker is going to be great. Really, really good. There you go. Against this whole Marine tank thing. You don't have any Fire Bats to get in here and do splash damage versus the Lurkers, which is a problem. Oh, he's going to try to drop. He's going to try to drop inside the main base and come in this way. He's distracting. Defiler. I don't know about this. Nice Dark Swarm. The reaction is too good, and then Lings come from the bottom side, and Sharp is just kind of getting taken apart right now. The Dark Swarms are just impeccably placed. Impeccable placement. Irradiate on the Defilers, irradiate on the Lurkers as much as you can. Yes, Sharp is doing all the right things. Additionally, going into mech, it's time. We're not on 3 bases yet, but let's definitely go into the mech transition, float our barracks out, try to see what they can see for scouting purposes. But yeah, herO's in a fantastic position. He really is. Going for an Ultralisk Cavern, which I'm a huge fan of, versus this kind of Marine medic style stuff, especially if you have good Dark Swarm control. Zerglings coming around. I want to say they have upgrade. They do. They have +2 armor now. But a Plague combined with Lurkers is just not fair. It's really, really not fair. So this army comes to the north to try to hide out. I mean, we've got units flying all over the place, but for the most part, it's going to be Scourge. And, yeah. Goodbye. Ultralisk Cavern just about done. There it is. Pop. And Spider-Man, pretty good unit, as all of those Zerglings died. Lurkers are coming into the third just as it's getting set up. And then the not a great answer to this, you Vultures. You're just not. Oh, the Science Vessel gets picked off, but another Science Vessel is here, and the Lurkers actually get handled pretty well by Sharp there. So, I mean, we're in a pretty good position for Sharp. He hasn't been able to kill any bases for the Zerg, which is annoying, but his third base is established, and there's no additional bases that have come up for herO yet. And once he starts moving into this mass tank thing, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem that we have seen solved from time to time. A handful of queens. Going for drops seems pretty good too. But the queens throwing down spawn Broodling on the tank count just to loosen it up a little bit. And then dropping right on top of the army can be pretty fantastic. Or, I mean, if herO can just out-macro Sharp pretty heavily, then he's going to be fine. However, Sharp's already at 146 supply, 63 SCVs, and 52 drones. Oh, nice Dark Swarm. Oh, that Defiler's at 6 HP. 6 HP and not dead. What a save by herO. herO's been playing exceptionally well. And I hear you guys. I hear the Zerg fans on the channel that say, how come you never show us Zerg wins? I want to say, I did recently cast a Zerg win or two. So if you haven't seen any for a while, go back through my archives, go back to the last week or two. You'll find some. And I don't watch them in advance. That's part 2. I don't watch these in advance. I don't have time for that. I just bring up usually long macro style games, sometimes a sneaky twofer, but I do not watch the replays before I cast them. I have been a Zerg player myself since 1998, so I'm definitely not doing some diabolical scheme to show you only Zerg losses. It's just, it's the nature of what we're dealing with here. It's just the replays that I have from that era. Zerg seems to struggle a lot versus both Terran and Protoss in the late game. And it might be a situation where Zerg is better early on. And if they can accomplish something early on and win early on, then they win. But I don't cast those short games very often. So, just, that's what we're looking at. 5th base coming up north for herO. 6 o'clock has been taken by Sharp. I mean, Sharp kind of had a rocky start. But he's really kind of hit his stride here. The Spider Mines are just... They're getting cleared out by Zerglings, but Zerglings are sacrificing their lives to make it happen. Anabolic Synthesis on the way for the Zerg player. We're working on some Goliaths here too, which again can be a problem for your dropping strategy on these tanks. But the more Goliaths there are, the fewer tanks they are. Maybe you don't even need to drop if there are not enough tanks. You know what I mean? It's rough. Also, this barracks scouting field is really good. There's just nothing that can kill it. There are no Mutalisks. There's no Hydras. And Sharp knows it. If Scourge want to hit this thing, that's fine with him. That's a really inefficient use of Scourge. Ooh, dropper? Yes! Here's a drop attempt. Oh, man. But Goliaths and a science vessel found it. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Holy cannoli. Good golly, Miss Molly. That is just some brutal, brutal outcome there. He was going for it. He took a risk, went for the drop. Did not work out for him at all. And suddenly, there's just blue everywhere. And it feels like herO's kind of squished into these corners, you know? Lurker defending. Nice Dark Swarm up here to protect the drones, too. That's some really nice play. Really nice Dark Swarm play there. Like, disgustingly good. I mean, herO's doing everything right. It's just, can he handle this incredibly tough to deal with mech transition? He's got his Ultralisks, he's got his Defilers, he has his Scourge. Terran answer for this is irradiating the Ultralisks, irradiating the Defilers, and then just letting tanks handle whatever else is left as they try to crash into the Terran mech. I mean, Sharp's probably at a point where he can double expand here. He's building a forward missile turret for detection purposes in case a lurker shows up. I hear one. Where is it? Oh, it's here on the ramp, of course. This is so annoying because I keep thinking these are drops or something, but they're just barracks. They've been hanging out here for like 10 minutes. So confusing for my minimap awareness. All right, so Zergling's trying to... I don't know what this is exactly, but the Ultras are ready, and they're going to get irradiated, and Spider Mines are going to be a problem. The Ultras do have the 6 armor and the +2 attack, but the Defilers all die. Almost all of them die. The Spider Mines, though! Gosh, no! No! The reason Spider Mines are so good versus Ultras is because they ignore armor on this 125 damage. Meanwhile, attack over here at the 4th base does kill a bunch of drones, but everything else dies. Nice drop. And the dropship gets killed in retaliation. It's only 51 drones now for herO. He's just kind of getting backed into these corners here. And I mean, the good news for him is... I mean, the Terran player doesn't have these bottom right-hand corners yet. But by golly, these Spider Mines are paying for themselves. They are paying for themselves so heavily. I mean, plaguing Vultures is not exactly how you win this matchup. Oh, this is so scary. It's already 3 attack on the tanks and +2 armor. I mean... Zerg fans, I'm with you on this. This is such a hard thing to deal with. The 23-minute maxed out bajillion tank army with science vessel support and a few Goliaths. Once they set up on one of your bases, it's really hard to save it. Scourge getting some good hits off, though. All right. No, you guys, go! Oh, the Scourge didn't go. So Dark swarming it up, spreading the tanks a bit, just so they can't get all jumped upon. This just feels like the inevitable. Right? I'm looking at this. I'm, How many Ultralisks have died to Spider Mines today? Oh, I don't know. 10? I don't know. I just feel like they should be better. They're very tanky. I should feel like they should be tankier. He does sneak the Ultras around the back side, though. Starts kind of going to town on this sneaky setup that Sharp has. This irradiated Ultralisk is actually doing more damage to the SCVs. Again, spider mines are your... Jeez. Okay. That's a problem. Irradiated Ultralisk has 4 kills. We'll make it 5 kills. We'll make it 6 kills. And the SCV count is actually plummeting for Sharp here. But tank fire on the Ultralisks. Even with the Dark Swarm, the splash damage is just too much. They're clumped up. It's 172 to 145 supply. It's more Lings and more Ultras in production here. You just can't come in from the ground against this much Terran. These many tanks with these upgrades. Both Protoss and Zerg, they hate each other, but they will come together for their shared hatred of mass siege tank, man. It is hard for both races to deal with. This is just too much. Look at this. He's not even going to siege up his tanks. You ready? He doesn't even need to. He doesn't even need to. That is what we're dealing with here. So what we've learned in the weeks and months and years I've been casting Brood War is when there are this many tanks, it's just so hard for Zerg to deal with. It can be done. We've seen it. It can be done. But it's not going to be done here. 178 to 129 supply, more Lings and Ultras in production. The tank count just keeps getting higher over time. Coming in through this choke is probably the worst idea in the world. It's close. It's close to the worst idea in the world. I mean, sure, this little counterattack is nice. You're going to kill some SCVs. You have a higher economy and higher worker count than your opponent. I say that as a bunch of drones die because of a vulture attack up, down this way. And again, this barracks scouting is friendly fire spider mine attack. Bad news. Again, drops. In this situation where there's a single Goliath, dropping on top of this would be disgustingly good. herO's not interested in doing that today. He tried dropping once. It went miserably for him. He's not going to give it another shot. It's 90 supply now for herO. He's down under triple digits. And every Ultra that pops out gets maybe 1 or 2 kills and then dies. This is just... It's math. It's just math is what it is. And these tanks are incredibly cost efficient. herO on 5 bases cannot do it enough to keep up. This is just super impressive by Sharp. I'm going to be honest, I kind of felt like herO had the advantage here versus Sharp, but Sharp is a lot stronger a Terran player than I thought. Especially those early few minutes where he couldn't get a third base established and the mutas were doing a ton of damage. I mean, maybe what this also comes down to is herO went for an early muta attack and really did try to kill the Terran player and couldn't do it. And once you can't do that, you're sort of behind. You're sort of a 2-basing Zerg to a 2-basing Terran for too long. You know what I mean? But behold the eulogy. Behold the end of the Zerg attack today. I mean, these bridges are just... This is overall a fairly Terran-favored map. So maybe I should have known what was coming when I knew it was on circuit breakers. But again, I just felt like Sharp maybe didn't have the resume that herO did, but... Maybe that doesn't matter as much if the Terran player can get to the late game, right? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. We'll talk about it. Again, I read every comment anybody ever makes on my channel. And that's your good game. I mean, we kind of saw it coming 2 or 3 minutes ago, you know what I mean, if not longer, when the tank count was this high and the upgrades were good, and it's just, it's really, really hard to deal with. I do want to say drops, though. I want to say drops. I want to say maybe 5 or 6 queens. You go spawn, 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 spawn. Then you drop on this. Blah, 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 blah. It all dies, and you're in a better position. But again, he went for the drop down here. It went incredibly poorly. It was like the worst luck, I think. And he just didn't try it again. The spider mines paid for themselves immensely. They were everywhere on the map. They must have killed 10 or 15 Ultralisks. The Lings couldn't do anything because of the tank fire and the vulture fire and the spider mines. And yeah, I just don't think Ultras are the answer. But at the same time, neither are Guardians. At the same time, neither is Mass Queen. It's just some combination of drops and a handful of queens, and you'd really have to out-macro the Terran player. You can't just sort of out-macro the Terran player. He needed to be on 5 or 6 bases. Again, hard to do. You'll notice he never even attempted to expand to the left or the right side because of these tank positions that really hard for you to dislodge once they're firing on your hatchery. This is hard enough up north, but it's easier to handle because it's a little bit further away. So, I mean, hats off to Sharp. He had a game plan. He executed it. He went for the bio with a 1-1, transitioned to the mech on basically 2 bases, and then was able to expand a couple times. Lost a few SCVs, but never really got bothered on that much at the 6 o'clock, which was huge for him. And then the Spider Mine placement was consistently incredible. APM's at 340 at the end of the game. We'll see what the average is in a minute here. But yeah, I mean, that's what this matchup is. It feels like once Terran's in the late game, it's a hard uphill climb for Zerg. All right, hit that like button if you enjoyed it anyway. Fun game, I thought. Really good early aggression into great mid game. Late game was strong too. Anyway, end of the day here, 331 APM for herO, 322 for Sharp. 200,000 points for herO, 214,000 points for Sharp. And yeah, a lot of units produced. Like a lot of Zerglings produced here, a lot of Mutalisks, Scourge, Ultralisks. It all added up to 852 Zerg units, 590 only produced by the Terran, but he was able to kill 600 and only lose 3. So this is where the game was won with the cost efficiency. And then at the end of the day, herO out gas mined, out mineral mined, and outspent by about 10,000 on the spending total there, but it doesn't matter because the tanks are all going to kill 5 to 6 units by themselves each. And that's just a fantastic trade. Woo! All right. So that's going to be it from me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.